All right, well, what's up, guys? Soccerheads podcast is back. Soccer's back. We're super excited. We're not talking about Nicaragua League or Belarus League soccer. Top five German Bundesliga soccer is back. I'm so excited. We got me, Connor McLean here, and we got Connor Blair. Blair?
Hello there, soccerheads.
There he is. So, yeah. We're still doing the social distancing thing. We've been affected by coronavirus a little bit. My mom is a nurse. She was kind of taking care of some coronavirus patients. But more importantly, Connor Blair's mom, she actually had coronavirus. How's she doing now?
She's doing great now. I nursed her back to health myself.
Wow. What?
And completely beat it.
Wow. What a great son. So it's nice that everyone's back healthy and everything like that. But we're still taking a little bit of precaution. Hopefully we'll be both here in the studio coming up in the next couple podcasts. Well, yeah. So Bundesliga is back. How are you feeling?
Fucking God.
So the question is it really going to be back? Saturday, 9:30?
As of now, it's there, so we can hold out hope.
Yeah. So,
Like,
yeah, what were you going to say?
worst thing that could happen is, they're like, oh, Lewandowski, has, coronavirus and 3 other Bayern Munich players.
Yeah, so
Then they'll cancel it.
because it does seem like they have tests readily available for these players. I don't know how often they're going to be testing each other, but what do you think the plan would be if they find 3 Bayern players, 2 Dortmund players have the coronavirus? Are they going to have to cancel it?
That's just what I don't know. They won't be able to, really, play and be like, oh, yep, 5 of your teams now infected, now 10, keep going to your matches.
Yeah, because one, I feel like if there was one country to, close everything down, follow the rules, and then reopen right away, it would be the Germans. They have their history of just being very, concise. I can definitely see them being like, we'll take, the economic hit of closing down, and then...
Very systematic.
Yep, and then once we feel that there's a chance we can open up, we'll take that risk to open up, and, if you get coronavirus, oh well, it's just for the good of everyone else to have soccer back. And so, yeah, I feel like maybe it'll just be the whole entire starting 11 of Bayern is sick. Just bring in the youth team and then move down the level, I guess. I guess that could be it.
Well, let's hope they're all isolated and strict, just the team, seeing only themselves.
Yeah, so I think overall there may be 1 or 2 cases. I guess we can look at the UFC a little bit that went on this previous weekend. They had that one fighter who had their coronavirus, and then he, was instantly, taken out of the picture.
But then they had the event scheduled.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, so one thing I think is going to be very interesting, because when watching the UFC, the crowd, the empty seats, it was completely dark, and all the lights were just focused on, the octagon. But for soccer, it's obviously going to be very different.
Yeah.
I
saw a lot of UFC fans that actually liked it, that there was no fans, because you could hear a lot more of what the coaches and fighters were saying.
Yeah, exactly. That would be very interesting. Obviously, for soccer, I feel like a lot of them would be talking in German, so potentially it wouldn't really help us.
And you can hear Robin go 9.
yeah, or pass me the ball, pass. And so, I don't really want to see the empty stands. What I was thinking is, in Taiwan or Korea or something, they were making cutout fan cardboards.
Yeah, I saw that you could pay and they put your picture on a cutout and stick it in there. That's a really cool idea. I'd do that.
Yeah,
$100, me in the background.
Yeah, that would be cool. Or I was even thinking, imagine if they bought a whole just entire huge green screen tarp, and then they visually edited in something on the stands, whether probably, if anything, it would be an advertisement. But I feel like that could be an interesting thing, pay a couple grand for a huge ass tarp for the first, bottom row, and then that could be interesting.
Yeah, I feel there's been a few times where there's been games behind closed doors where no one was watching. I remember I watched one was like, I think Croatia like mowed a Nazi symbol into their field and like wasn't allowed fans for like a World Cup qualifier or something.
Yeah.
And it was like it's like different watching. Like you can hear like the ball passing around, them all yelling at each other, but it's like it's essentially the same. It's just a little less crowd noise, a little less passion.
So I remember with the Champions League match when it was the Dortmund versus PSG, Haaland said he had one of his worst games of his career because there weren't any fans. I think that is definitely something that, you know, fans, I mean, the players have to consider. But
I feel like Liverpool, like at Anfield, like stuff like that, like the home field advantage is real. Like
yeah. So now, I mean, I guess home field advantage won't be that big of a deal, but definitely something, you know, to keep in mind for the players and them like dealing with it. Maybe they pump in crowd noise. I don't know. I wouldn't be totally against that idea either. Just to give
like make the players feel like more natural.
Or maybe even just pump it in on the TV broadcast that for the fans. I don't know, that fans watching at home. But whatever they decide to do, I think, you know, you just got to go with it. You can't really you got to take what you can get at this moment.
We just need to see a soccer game played.
A ball moving on the pitch. That's all we want to see.
Okay.
So I guess just kind of jumping into the games, and maybe we'll take a quick look at the standings first of all. So the 7-time-in-a-row winners, Bayern Munich, they have 55 points. Dortmund in second with 51. Leipzig with 50. And Gladbach with 49.
So pretty tight race at the top. Obviously, Bayern Munich kind of leading things, but they weren't all season.
Yep, they had to get rid of Nikola Kovac or whoever that coach was in the beginning of the season. Didn't really work out for him. And then
players hated him.
Yeah.
And Bayern, I saw like a report that like the stars turned on Pep and like that's why he left Bayern or something.
Oh, really?
Bayern players always having issues with their coaches.
Yeah,
Carlo Ancelotti was there for like a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so they all have 9 games remaining. Only Frankfurt and Werder Bremen have 10 games remaining, but that's not really a huge deal for, you know, the title race. Obviously, they're much lower in the standings. So, Frankfurt and Werder Bremen, they have 10 games remaining, but everyone else has 9. They're going to hopefully finish the season by June and by the end of June. So the first games are at 9:30 on Saturday. It was kind of annoying because there's a bunch of games on at 9:30, and then Frankfurt versus Gladbach is on at 12:30 on Saturday. So I was hoping they kind of maybe space the games out a little bit more. But the one we'll definitely be watching is Dortmund versus Schalke at 9:30.
It's a game that get us back into it.
Yeah. So I think something to consider is like, you know, the age of players, because you would maybe think that there could be some, you know, muscle injuries and stuff like that kind of appearing on the pitch and everything like that.
How long have the teams been back in training? Like, they've been like together for weeks, like, or staying fit, or?
Yeah, so I definitely think they have been like training as a team for a few weeks now, working on like social distancing, I guess, to some level, in some extent. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but they're definitely not getting that match level fitness that they would, you know, if they were playing games.
A lot different, like doing jogs at your house.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think the youth of Borussia Dortmund would definitely help them. You know, Marco Reus, hopefully he'll be able to play. He's always injured. But Gio Reyna, Erling Haaland, Sancho, all those players, they'll be fine, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, like, I feel like it's going to be a crazy high-scoring game.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I'm going to do a betting kind of short little video closer to, you know, when the games are going to be played, maybe like Friday or Saturday. Well, not Saturday morning, but Friday night. And yeah, I'm definitely going over on goals for the Dortmund Schalke game, and then on Sunday it was funny because when I was thinking about youth, I was thinking, oh, Bayern Munich is like a much older team, but when I thought about it, they're really not. I mean, they have Lewandowski, who's always just, in peak fitness, even though he's around like 30, low 30s. But,
for his type of striker, he's got like a few good years left.
Yep. Yeah, because for some reason I was thinking, they had Robin and Ribery, last season.
Yeah, they've been trimming the fat lately, Bayern.
Yeah.
Boateng, almost, like...
And then almost, like, confirmed report of Sane. So that would be super awesome. I like that move.
They got Soulé, Davies, Pavard, like... And, who's that? Who's they signed from Atletico Madrid? What's that guy's name?
French? Pavard?
No,
Hernandez?
Yeah. So, like, that, like, back four right there is, like, a under 25 back four.
Yeah, so they're going to be fine with fitness also. So, yeah, my two big bets I'm going to do is, like, over Dortmund Schalke for goals. And then I think Bayern Munich is absolutely going to destroy Berlin. Yeah, like 6-0. I don't know.
I think you do, like, a 5-goal margin bet.
Yeah, I think that's probably something I'm going to be considering for sure. And so, yeah, some other good games at 9:30 is going to be also Leipzig versus Freiburg. So Leipzig, we don't really care about them. I mean, Leipzig we care about because they're in third place, but Freiburg, they should take care of Freiburg very easily also. No?
Freiburg hasn't been having a terrible season.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely going to be interesting because we say, Bayern's going to absolutely destroy them, and but I don't know.
I mean, these are the most, like, unpredictable group of games you could ever have.
Exactly, yeah.
You literally do not know who is, like, even doing anything right now.
Yeah, especially on Monday. So, yeah, on Monday we have Bayern Leverkusen versus Werder Bremen, and I'm kind of interested in that game. Leverkusen has a very interesting team overall with Kai Havertz and stuff like that, and Josh Sargent on Werder Bremen. So that's going to be a game I'm really interested in also. And then looking at the schedule, so we'll kind of get into the title race now. I have these I have Bayern and Dortmund's their remaining 9 games written out. So Bayern, they have Union Berlin coming up, easy dub. Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt, that could be very interesting. Either way on that one. Then on the third match week, the new weeks, it's the Klassiker, Bayern versus Dortmund. So that
game for Dortmund.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big game for, Bayern as well, because that could very well decide the title race. If Dortmund get that, then that means that they are only 1 point behind Bayern if they've won all the games up to then.
It's like if Dortmund needs to win that, but Bayern doesn't 100% need to win it, but if Dortmund loses that, they're kind of out of the title race, I feel like.
Yep, definitely good point. And then... So then Bayern, then they have Dusseldorf, which they can win that, obviously. Then they have Leverkusen, which could go...
Dusseldorf, dude. Last time, you better guess.
Yeah. But who is it? Zach Steffen? I think he's out injured, the goalie, the American goalie. So no point there, really. And then, Leverkusen can go either way. Gladbach, that can go either way. And then...
Bayern Leverkusen's always close, regardless.
Yep, Kai Havertz. Hopefully he can have a really solid game then.
Just shows up for Bayern.
Yep. And then Mönchengladbach, which they're always tough to beat.
Another team that shows up for Bayern.
Yeah. And then their final 3 remaining games are, pretty easy. They have Werder Bremen, Freiburg, and Wolfsburg. So, even though...
Bayern they actually don't have the easiest schedule.
Yep.
Going down the stretch.
Yeah, but then we get into Dortmund's schedule. So, Dortmund starts off with Schalke, which 50-50 game, even though I think we probably would put our money on Dortmund to win that, but we're expecting goals.
Again, you don't know.
You never know. And then they have Wolfsburg, who Dortmund should be able to win that. And then the third game is the Bayern matchup.
That's a tough upset right there.
Yep. And then Paderborn is after that, which I feel like they can always pull off the upset. Hertha Berlin, I don't really think they will give Dortmund any problems. Fortuna Dusseldorf, so Dusseldorf is after Berlin, who they can always pull off an upset. Mainz can always pull off an upset. And then the really interesting one is RB Leipzig, the second to last game of the season. So they face the top three teams. Dortmund does. Well, they're number 2 right now. So they play number 1 Bayern and then number 3 Leipzig. So that Leipzig match, imagine if like Bayern has this weird thing where they kind of fall off the cliff and then it's Dortmund versus Leipzig and that's the title decider. That would be pretty interesting.
So who's the team after Leipzig?
Hoffenheim.
Just once can they give us a Dortmund last game of the season?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, they probably expect Bayern to win that no problem, or not even play their starters because they've already locked it up by that point.
True.
7th time in a row. Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting season. Last 9 games. I think what will add to it too is the fact that they know that every single person will be watching those games. Even if you're the casual soccer fan, if you're like in England, you're like, okay, I'll tune into the occasional, big German game. This, you're watching any single game that is on at this time. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, give me like,
Hoffenheim versus Berlin.
Stoke away, dude. I'll watch anything at this point.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a really awesome season. These last couple of 9 games, I guess I keep calling it like it's like a new season almost. We've had such a long break and everything's just so crazy at this point. But the title race, I just hope that Bayern, at least they don't run away with it in the first couple of games. Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna run on the table and win all 9 games. Like they haven't been playing. Like a lot of crazy shit's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right, so I guess kind of to finish off this podcast, did you get in all your points you wanted to about Bundesliga?
I think I got in everything.
Yeah, okay. So just to probably, talk about the other leagues a little bit, kind of see where they're at. The Premier League, they mentioned that they're looking to start up around the first 2 weeks of June, which I think I'm much less confident that they will get that done compared to the Bundesliga getting this done this weekend. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between the Bundesliga returning and the Premier League returning.
Yep. So I think what were you going to say?
I saw in training, they're not going to allow tackling at first, so they don't infect each other, which is so stupid.
I know. That's just so ridiculous. And I think I saw something like the last hour or so that they're going to have the championship, so the second division, start before the Premier League. So I guess by that point, they think that the championship players' lives mean less than the Premier League teams' lives.
I mean, if you're talking transfer value.
Yeah, so they're going to be the guinea pigs for the Premier League, and they'll see how that goes.
I like it.
Yeah, so definitely a ballsy move there. And then you have Danny Rose saying, the lives of soccer players, they're not just, they matter just as much as the other people that have to stay home. But,
relax, Danny Rose. You can stay home.
I know. It's like, I think...
have it, don't make it mandatory to, come,
Yeah, you know exactly
sure,
what...
95% of players will go.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're signing up for. So when you're a soccer player, I think they'd rather have soccer than not have soccer in their lives and just die. So it's got to be there. I think the Serie A, they're going to look to return June 16th also, so around middle of June, which I saw Brescia, they're going to protest returning. They're not going to do it. And they do kind of make a good point. Like if you're not playing, if you're already relegated or you're not playing for any, European spots, what's the point of playing the last couple games?
Yeah, that is very true. I don't know if I would be risking myself for literally nothing.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then the League One, they've already canceled, I guess, right? So I don't know if they'll be coming
But,
back.
like, that's not, like, that's big ramifications to just cancel. That's, like, people get, like, clubs are getting demoted because of that. Like, that's their futures changed, like, forever.
Yeah. Yeah, so my big thing, my point at the beginning of all this was like, if you say there's going to be no more games this season, at least take the results that they have on the very last match week. Maybe if some teams got in, match day 26 and the rest were on 25, take away that last game and then just leave everyone at, if you can decide the season, since there are no playoffs, obviously, if you can decide the season at match day 30, I feel like you should, in essence, be able to decide it at match week 25. My big thing was don't cancel the league and then void the season, because then that's just like everyone played for nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think the PSG, they gave them the title.
Yep.
But,
yeah, what were you going to say?
I was saying, I saw Leon, who was in 7th and was, like, was close to moving up to Champions League spot. They probably think Depay is going to leave now because he wants to play Champions League football.
True, yeah. Hopefully back to Man United.
Louis Van Gaal ruined him and Di Maria.
Yep. And Ajax, I mean, they were obviously tied with Alkmaar. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but they were tied for first place, winning on goal differential, and then their season was voided. They didn't even get the championship, which I thought was so ridiculous.
They just voided it?
Yeah, they voided it. They didn't get the title or anything, so pretty crazy world that we're living in right now. But I think, we'll finish up with the last segment of we're going to call it the promotion relegation segment. And right now we're kind of thinking as a whole of the, quarantine time. So who really kind of made the best of it during quarantine and who kind of really messed up big time. So I'll start off with my first one. So I think the big winner, or one of the big winners, was Son. Tottenham's Heung-min Son. He turned into Rambo. There's a very high likelihood that he assassinated Kim Jong-un. He had the best stats of like any South Korean soldier in the history of their military. So he crushed it.
That's expected, though.
Yeah. Because everyone has to join the military in South Korea for like a couple years, so.
Yeah, he won that Asian Cup, so he didn't need to serve the full service, but he still has to do like the 6 weeks of like basic training.
Yep.
And he got that out of the way during Corona. Now won't have any interruptions for Spurs.
Yep, he killed it. All right, do you have one?
For the promotion.
Yeah. I have a couple.
My boy David De Gea.
Oh, De Gea.
He donated an incredible amount of money to some charities in Madrid anonymously.
Oh, wow.
Until the people exposed him to thank him.
That's sick. That's always the way to do it. You'd be like, I'm going to do this anonymously, but in a week, make sure everyone knows I did it.
Yeah, that's what we say.
Yep. So my next one is Lewandowski. He recently started on the TikTok grind, and I guess he is a world-class dancer, along with a world-class striker.
He's a world-class man.
Yeah. Top guy. How about you?
And then I got for we still doing promotion. We going back and forth.
Yeah. We'll stick with the promotion.
Then my next guy, Messi, the GOAT.
Yep.
He's just been throwing millions of dollars left and right at hospitals, charities, local Argentina, local Barcelona stuff. Mm-hmm. That's just expected, though.
Yep. That is. And then mine for another one for promotion is Chelsea. Can you guess why Chelsea?
Chelsea. What did they do?
So I'll just tell you. Now, since Champions League was canceled, they now do not have to go into Bayern Munich and get their ass kicked by Bayern in Champions League.
I guess that's good for them. I was kind of feeling the Chelsea comeback, but whatever.
Nope, no chance. And then my last one for promotion is my bank account, because I luckily was not able to lose any money betting on soccer or sports in general during this quarantine.
Thank God that will soon come to an end.
Yep, thank goodness. It was the best thing to happen.
Now you got even more to throw away.
Yep. All right, so I guess moving on to relegation now. You start that one off.
Start that off with my boy, Luka Jovic, Real Madrid striker, Serbian. Serbia, that's very strict quarantine rules. And he broke them to see his model girlfriend. Noble cause, and they were threatening to throw him in jail at one point. So that would have been funny.
Yeah. That's like in Russia when Putin dropped some bears on the street, supposedly. So anyone that was out just got mauled by a bear.
Yeah, and I think he hurt himself, and then I'm pretty sure Zidane said, like, he will never play for me again because he hates it.
Yeah, he definitely did not have a good time.
He was signed in that very short window where Zidane was not there.
Yeah. All right, so my big loser would be Hertha Berlin Solomon Kalou. He took a video, put on like Instagram, whatever, of him just shaking hands with his teammates. You know, once he first saw everyone for the first time after quarantine, and then because he was shaking their hands, he got suspended by the Bundesliga, which is just pretty crazy because that's just like a PR move by Bundesliga. They're like, if they get, any, heat for doing this, they'll be like, oh, well, we suspended Kalou once we realized he was shaking people's hands. So, not our problem.
We protected everyone.
Yeah, exactly. All right. You got another one?
I had one in my head.
All right.
It was Kyle Walker. I believe he was, he tweeted out and was like, stay inside, don't go visit anyone, gotta social distance everyone. Well, he was like hosting like a prostitute sex party.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind him having a prostitute sex party. It's just the fact that,
problem with it.
Just don't be that guy that's begging everyone to stay in. If you'd be like, I think everyone can go out and do their own thing, then sure, yeah.
Like, don't be a hypocrite. Well, you actually have the moment.
Yeah. So then I got a couple more for the relegation. One is Jack Grealish, because he had a tough time. He was caught out during quarantine also, but his problem was he crashed his car. It was just like a minor crash, so he was fine, but just like a little fender bender. So he just kind of got embarrassed by that whole thing, and there's always a controversy with Jack Grealish going on.
It's English.
Yep, and then another one would be Ajax. We kind of mentioned that a little bit. They had their season canceled. They were in first place on goal differential, and they don't get the title.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Like, there's people who are like on that Ajax team is gonna be the only Dutch title they ever had.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my thing. Like, do their goals count? Are their contracts voided since they technically didn't play any games?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's just such.
And then my other biggest loser is Paul Pogba. And Paul Pogba, because now with this extra month to recover from his foot injury or ankle injury, now
he can't pretend to be injured anymore.
Yeah, he can't pretend to be injured and not want to play for Manchester United. So if he doesn't play in their first game, then everyone knows he is just not going to be on the team next season. Do you think Real Madrid or Juventus? You think he'll be at?
Barcelona.
Oh, Barcelona. All right. Yeah.
They're going for the Conte Pogba swoop.
Yeah, all right, that's the one to watch for. All
I
right.
did see something that they might be all in for Conte, and I feel like we said that. That's how you fix Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Conte just wins you championships.
Oh.
And the thing about Conte is you can't have him play a tactical right center mid. You just need him to say, "You're just gonna make sure no one gets by you." And then he says,
just run around.
And then he just smiles. He's like, "Yes, thank you, merci."
I take ball now.
Yeah. All right. So this was our first podcast back. We'll have another podcast to talk about the first weekend of matches, probably Sunday night or Monday.
Hopefully we get some some good stories to talk about.
Oh, we definitely will. So, yeah, appreciate you guys listening, and stay safe, and enjoy the matches this weekend.